A low-class warrior, father of Goku, Bardock has had many names and has been well known ever since we first saw him. Mentioned in the Frieza Arc shown at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z's Kai run, we've all come to know who Bardock was. But there was one person who never came to know this man, and it's perhaps the most important one of them all, his own son. For the longest time, Goku had never known his father. The only memory of any parental figure he's ever had was Gohan, the old man, not Goku's son. But the good news is, this has just changed, and with it, we finally got a deeper look at the Bardock portrayed in Dragon Ball Super. And I must say, it's been a long time coming. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media accounts. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. Bardock, the legend that came before Goku. But unlike Goku, Bardock was not remembered because he won every battle, or his hair changed to a new color every other week. He was legendary because he failed. The name Bardock has become synonymous with the event The Fall of the Saiyans, a song in the Super Broly movie even nodding to this, being titled Bardock's Fall. And it's one of the best tracks in the entire movie. What we remember most of him was that he was the only Saiyan to ever stand up against Frieza prior to Goku and Vegeta, and despite it ending in his demise, or time travel depending on how you view episode of Bardock, it's a legendary battle, retold time and time again, across various Dragon Ball games and movies. Most recently, however, the story's seen some change. While debate on whether it was canon to begin with is still going, it's true that Toriyama liked it enough to mention it in his manga. He eventually retold the events using his own touch, changing a few events as well as the personality of Bardock himself to a degree. In the prior stories, Bardock was a gruff man who was no different in personality than his son Raditz, a warrior whose only goal was to eradicate all the inhabitants of any planet with value to get a cut from Frieza upon it being sold. In this special, Bardock was head of his own platoon, Team Bardock. This version of Bardock was uncaring and didn't even care that his son had been born. His actions were so horrible that one of the last inhabitants living on the planet ambushed him and bestowed the ability to see into the future in hopes that whatever fate that was to find him would reveal itself. And indeed it did. Bardock returned home and began to have visions of the future that he ignored until his squad was murdered by Dodoria and Zarbon, two of Frieza's highest officers. He returned to home and tried to inform the others of what was happening to no avail. He went up and prepared to fight Frieza alone. This was the story that was written by Takao Koyama, and was considered to be so good that even Toriyama added it to the manga he was writing. However, the story was retold by Toriyama in a special issue of his Jaco the Galactic Patrolman manga series, the story of which being adapted to the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. In this movie, fans saw a new Bardock that was different from what had been seen previously, where some of his personality was softened and he was shown to care far more about his children than was considered normal for a Saiyan. Growing uneasy about what Frieza was up to, having had himself and all other Saiyan warriors recalled to their homeworld for reasons never explained to them, Bardock decided to go with his gut and send Goku away to planet Earth, a planet described as of little value to the Frieza Force. The story once more reiterated that Bardock faced off against Frieza and his men alone, with the other Saiyans, including Bardock's wife Gine, merely going about their daily lives until the light of Frieza's supernova that Bardock failed to stop was heading their way. This story, despite being different from what we knew, was well received due to the heart it added in. And it goes to show just how iconic one character can be, even if they were only given one somewhat retconned story. Or so we thought. It wasn't until the Granola Arc that we came to realize that Toriyama had more stories to tell about Bardock. The Granola Arc centered around a young mercenary of the same name. This mercenary was a part of a now extinct race named the Cerealians, and sought revenge for the death of his race. He worked with a criminal intelligence outfit named the Heaters, and worked to grow stronger to one day defeat Frieza and get revenge on the resurrected tyrant who had destroyed his home. Unaware that the Heaters he worked for served as liaisons to the Frieza Force's clients, he found himself manipulated into facing off against Goku and Vegeta, who were themselves manipulated by the Heaters, who told him that Granola was destroying a nearby planet. On planet Cereal, Granola, who lives with an elderly Namekian, learns of the Dragon Balls and their ability to grant wishes. He learns from Monaito that the elderly Namekian had formed a pair himself and was in possession of one of them. Obtaining both, Granola wished to be the strongest in the universe, and this wish was seemingly granted at the cost of all but 3 years of the youth's own lifespan. Eventually, Goku and Vegeta reach Planet Cereal to face off against Granola, the latter of which, unable to get past his hatred for the Frieza Force, easily identifies the two as Saiyans and proceeds to fight them both to the death. Goku was the first to fight, utilizing his perfected Ultra Instinct against the Cerealian, but finds that the gap between their powers is far too high, and is defeated. Next, Vegeta also tries his hand at battling Granola, using Super Saiyan Blue Evolved to first test the waters, and later using his newest transformation, Ultra Ego, to go toe-to-toe with him. Able to use his new technique's gimmicky mechanic, he manages to slowly bridge the gap between the two until his carelessness and stamina give out, allowing Granola, who has powered up further, to gain the upper hand. Once more, Goku joins the fray, but the battle is cut short by Monaito, who I hope I am pronouncing right, who proceeds to reveal to Granola the truth of what happened that night on Planet Cereal, and to Goku as well about the kind of man Bardock truly was. On the night of a full moon, as the Namekians and Cerealians were enjoying their harvest, a set of ships appeared from the sky as well as Saiyan attack balls. Wasting no time, the Saiyans emerged as great apes and proceeded to destroy the surrounding area and kill the Cerealians, while the other Frieza Force soldiers proceeded to massacre every Namekian save Monaito. As in Ozaru, Bardock witnesses the tiny Granola rush off to a chapel where his mother is hiding and follows. Having turned back into a more humanoid form, Bardock finds the child Granola, passed out from terror in the arms of his protective mother Muesli, and ends up taking a shot from her. The strength of this woman, as well as her motherly instincts, cause Bardock to think about his own wife and child. At this juncture, we realize that Bardock was away on mission and missed the birth of Goku. When asked about it by Gine, Bardock displays a level of airheadedness similar to Goku by stating, "Oh, that explains why your tummy's flat again." He recalls seeing Goku for the first time, shocked at the likeness, as well as picking out the name. Unable to stop thinking about this moment in his life, Bardock decides to spare Muesli, going so far as to even misdirect his own partner in an effort to keep her and her son's survival a secret. Having been informed that Frieza himself is coming to inspect the planet, Bardock quickly searches for any form of life, detecting a small power level that he feels moves with too much intelligence to be an animal. Leading them there, he finds Monaito and asks him to take care of the two. The story shocks Granola, but it shocks Goku as well. Monaito mentions that the Saiyan has an uncanny appearance to Bardock and is the first to ask of any family ties. Goku states that he doesn't know much about his biological family and only remembers Grandpa Gohan. Vegeta then looks at Goku and breaks it to him. Bardock was Goku's father. Monaito speaks of how fate has steered him back to Planet Cereal and to Granola and the elderly Namekian. Goku mentions how he would like to have known more about Bardock, and Monaito continues by revealing that there's more to the story. As Bardock was preparing to leave, Monaito offers to heal Bardock's wounds. As he does so, Muesli stands afar off watching. Bardock is surprised by this, mentioning how he had no idea the Namekians could heal. It wasn't long thereafter that his scouter begins to go off, revealing that there were people nearby. Going to check it out, Bardock discovers the heaters overlooking the planet and panics a bit. Monaito asks who they are, and Bardock fills him in on the relationship that the heaters have with Frieza. Listening in on the conversation, Bardock is annoyed when he hears that the heaters don't plan to pay more than 10% to the Saiyans who fought for the planet. Finally waking up, Granola stumbles out of Monaito's home looking for his mother and is startled when he witnesses the tale that he had come to strike fear in his heart, screaming out in terror. The heaters hear and go over to find Bardock, who's pretending to hold the Cerealians and Namekian captive. However, the plan backfires when Elec decides he wants to witness the death of the captives and tells Bardock to fire. Bardock tries to steer the situation away from that by mentioning that the Namekian displays a strange power and might need to be taken in. Elec responds by shooting Granola's mother through the heart, killing her. In a fit of rage, Bardock turns on the heaters and fires on them, only for gas to stop between them and block the blast with a key shield. Bardock uses this moment to get Granola and Monaito to a safer location, which leads Elec to believe that they heard the heaters' conversation about shafting Frieza on payment for the planet, saying they have to die. He dispatches Gas to do the deed, who promptly flies off. Back in the present, Granola chastises Monaito for letting him work for the heaters despite his mother having been killed by them. Vegeta, still in suspense, asks if Bardock managed to defeat Gas, to which Monaito confirms and states that is how they survived. Vegeta wonders if Bardock was strong for a low-class warrior, or if Gas was just weak. Monaito states that Gas was very strong, but before he can explain, the heaters appear along with Gas. Realizing that the charade was found out, they use the Dragon Balls to open all of Gas's potential, much like Granola had done, and invade the battlefield. Not much is revealed by Gas other than Bardock had caused him shame in the time before, and had managed to keep Granola and Monaito's existence a secret until Granola made a name for himself as a bounty hunter. Due to Gas's interruption, Goku never really got to take in all of the info to react to it, but he did seem extremely interested in the story. We came to learn more about Bardock's new personality and more about the kind of man he was. Despite being a warrior for the Frieza Force, he still held a conscience, and something Vegeta relates to Goku's soft-heartedness. He was shown to truly care about his family more so than any other Saiyan, and displayed a level of compassion unheard of in the Frieza Force, something that even surprised Bardock. If anything, Dragon Ball Super Broly's opening scenes, as well as chapters 77 and 78 of Dragon Ball Super's manga, humanizes the Saiyans in a way that portrays them as a functional society that actually seemed to care for one another. It leads us to believe that Raditz, and even to a point Vegeta, weren't sure what the Saiyans were actually like besides the military side of them. The Saiyans, while quite the Spartan-like community, displayed the capacity to love just as much as fight, and even the capacity to show mercy just as much as vanquish their enemies. While not many of the race remain anymore, those who do exist display the same qualities as those who came before. Incredible strength of will and character, but a heart with the capacity to care for their planet and those they love. In the end, Bardock's story may be different from the original, but it did change Dragon Ball forever, as well as the views of the fans who wished to know more of what the warrior race truly was, and what it was that these warriors truly were fighting for. In the end, Bardock is still as he was then, a true icon. What do you think? What were your opinions on the retcons that took place in Bardock's story? Did you like them? Or would you have preferred the original to have been the canon version? Do you like this new view of Saiyan society? And would you like to see Bardock make a return to the series in some capacity? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more content like this. With all the pride of a Saiyan warrior and all the love of an Earthling, I say to you, peace.